All right, read that lovely little blurb, starting with consistent with.
Yep, so good evening, everybody. This is the Conservation Commission meeting of Wednesday, August 17th, 2022. And the time is just after 6 o'clock. Consistent with Chapter 107 of the Acts of 2022, this meeting will be conducted by remote participation. The public may not physically attend this meeting, but every effort will be made to allow the public to view and listen to the meeting in real time and participate when necessary. I will now call a roll of the Conservation Commissioners. So when I call your name, please respond with a response. Member Charpentier.
Here.
Member Cook.
Yes.
Member Gradwell. Not here. Member Sargent.
Here.
Member Sherman.
Here.
And Member Gulla.
Here.
All right, so it looks like we have a quorum.
Yes, we do. I'm just going to back up a little bit on you, Charles, here for Chuck.
Yes.
Also for the public, persons who wish to do so are invited to view the meeting at the website. You can go on to the city's website to get the link, or join by phone by, I think there's like 9 numbers here again, just in case anybody's trying to get on here, but via the internet. There's a couple of phones on the city's website as well that you can call in if you like. Other than that, we'll move on to the administrative briefing part of the meeting. Chuck, is there anything in there we should be discussing?
Yes, I just wanted to mention that we had 2 late continuances. So they'll be not heard at the meeting this evening. That'll be for 155 Winger Chic and also for 44 Commercial. Both of those have been continued to the September 7th meeting.
Say them again. You came in a little fuzzy there.
Yes, it's 155 Winger Chic.
Yeah.
And 44 Commercial.
Where am I not? Oh, there it is. That's what I couldn't see. Okay. All right. Anything else in the administrative briefing part that you'd like to discuss?
Not on my end. No.
Okay. Moving on to public comment. This is the period of the meeting where the public is welcome to speak towards conservation issues, only conservation issues. If you would like to speak, anything that, I'm sorry, let me start over. Anybody who wishes, this is the public comment period of the meeting. Anybody who wishes to speak may do so by hitting the raise your hand button at the bottom of your screen or hitting *9 on your phone or handheld device. This is for only items that are not, repeat, not on tonight's agenda. Anybody's hand going up, Charles?
Nope, looks like we have 8 attendees and there are no hands up at this time.
Okay, seeing none, hearing none, move close the public comment period. Next is minutes review and approval. We have the August 3rd minutes of 2022. Is everybody good with those, or?
Yep.
All right. So with that, do we want to move? I'll move to approve the minutes of August 3rd, 2022.
Charpentier seconds.
Roll call. Member Charpentier.
Yes.
Member Cook.
Yes.
Member Sargent.
Yes.
Member Sherman.
Yes.
And Member Gulla.
Yes. It passes. Okay, other business. Looks like we have an emergency certification 22-03 Babson Reservoir emergency certification. What do we have here? Chuck.
Yes. So I am promoting Sarah Vargas. She is with the city, and I will show a map. And
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. My name is Sarah Vargas. I'm with the engineering department. We're looking to get an approval from you guys. We are trying to breach an existing breach, an existing old beaver dam up in the Babson Reservoir. It's upstream of Olive Wife Brook and also the Babson Reservoir. This dam was breached by the MBTA in September of last year with no permits and no warnings. With the Babson Reservoir full at that time, we have to deal with a large amount of water and flow, and it caused flooding downstream of the spillway, also damaging some backyard of homes and causing a lot of angry abutters. I don't know if you remember those times, but in addition with that, we have a major water quality issue due to the high organics. At this event, we had to drain a very large amount of volume of water from the reservoir. Since then, we have been working with the state and COMCOM on another beaver dam breach of the east of this dam. That was at the beginning of this year, January 2022. And as a result of that, the water quality has improved significantly since these dams have been breached. We would like to start as soon as possible while the area is dry and the flow is low. We will access off an existing fire road. There will be on about 100 feet path that we might have to be widened in some spots to get a mini excavator and some other small tools to restore the area. As you can see, this is from today's site visit that we did with Chuck and Ryan Marks. In regards to the beavers, we have a beaver monitoring contractor entrapped during the permitted season, which is November till April. As of now, there's no current beaver activity registered, and it's perfect time to do this type of work. In conclusion, this beaver dam is the main feeder of the stream Babson Reservoir. It's compromising the safety of the community downstream and also the water quality for our water treatment plant, which is located at the bottom of Babson Reservoir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm going to open this up for public comment. This is anyone who wishes to speak for or against the emergency certification. Greg, I don't think we do votes on the emergency certs, do we? Greg, there.
No, so in this case, if there's an identified public health or safety issue, they're coming to you to get permission to conduct some activities fairly rapidly, and provided that it's been identified as such. And I believe you also had in your packets also the correspondence from DEP that concurs that that's an issue that needs to be resolved for the water quality issue concern. And also, as this has been described, when it was breached last, it was not a pretty situation, particularly when we weren't on notice. So the city is now kind of proactively taking a look at this and trying to make the necessary adjustments for the public water supply. So it's really just an acknowledgement of the commission to allow them to do this work in this limited period of time by endorsing the emergency cert.
Okay. All right. So with that said, then I would just say, why don't we do, if you don't mind doing roll call commissioner comments, Chuck, that'd be good.
Yep. I'll call Member Charpentier.
No comments, looks fairly straightforward.
Member Cook.
The only comment I made is my history with this is they're going to have to keep an eye on it because it's a reoccurring problem until you can do something with the beavers. And don't bring them over to Wingershik, please.
Member Sargent.
Nice presentation. That's it.
Member Sherman.
Next. Is
Member
that
Sherman.
everybody? Oh, Robert Sherman hasn't commented. Bob, are you
Yeah, I'm here. I didn't hear my name called. I have no comments.
okay?
And member,
Everybody?
and you, Robert.
Yes, I have no comments. Okay, so with that, I think we're okay with the emergency cert. Again, Greg, do we have, I would assume we have to vote on this, so.
You could just take a roll call of approval of issuing the emergency certification.
Okay. So why don't we have a roll call to, for lack of a better term, engage the emergency certification 22-03, Babson Reservoir Emergency Certification. Roll call.
All right, Member Charpentier.
Yes,
Member Cook.
Yes.
Member Sargent.
Yes.
Member Sherman.
Yes,
And Member Villa.
Yes.
Right.
All right. Next, we're moving into continued business. RDA 1703 Salt Island Road, Salt Island LLC. Are they previously continued or are they requesting to be continued to September 21st, 2022, you know?
They were previously continued.
Okay, so there's nothing to do there. Next up is notice of intent 28-2827, 105 Wingersheek Road, lots A and B, 125 Wingersheek LLC, Joel Pavaza, Seaside Legal Solutions representing. Again, continue to September. I'm assuming that's previously continued.
Yes.
So that's previously continued. This is the 7th of September. So we're all set there. Next up is notice of intent 28-4812 Sumner Street. Heidi Fiallo, John Judd Gateway Consultants, Inc. representing. They have requested a continuation or previously continued to September 7th, 2022. So I guess we're all set there, correct?
Yes.
Next up is notice of intent 28-2859 10 Point Road, Salvatore and Nancy Vigorito, John Judd Gateway Consultants, Inc. representing. They are previously continued to September 7th, 2022 as well. Next up is notice of intent 0282857 Atlantic Road, Deborah Mead, Dan Ottenheimer, Mill River Consulting representing. Good. Dan.
Well, down here.
Dan, you there?
Chuck, everyone, can you hear me, Chuck?
We can hear you.
Great.
Name and address for the record?
Of course. Good evening, commissioners. Dan Otten.
Nope. We lost you, Dan. I'm assuming everyone else can hear me, correct?
Yeah, we can hear you, Rob. We just lost Dan.
Yeah, sorry, I got promoted to a panelist and then my microphone went off, but I think you can hear me now.
Yep.
Great. Thank you, Chuck. All right, great. Get our act together here. So good evening. I don't know, are you looking at me or my screen or Chuck's screen? I'm not sure what you're seeing.
Right now, we're looking at you.
Okay, so so I can either share my screen or Chuck, you can bring the plan up, one of the two, but let me reintroduce myself, reintroduce the project. Dan Ottenheimer, engineer with Mill River Consulting. We're talking about a small house expansion at 77 Atlantic Road on the back shore. So this is well away from the water itself. Obviously, Atlantic Road separates this house from the resource area. The work itself is primarily in the backyard of the house. So we reviewed this at the last meeting, and the commissioners asked us to give some more information, provide a tabulation of how much new impervious area is going to be created from the house, and also how much is going to be reduced by the smaller swimming pool. So we've done that for you, and we've also provided, the commission asked that we provide a native species planting area. So we have that as well, shown on the bottom left side of the site plan that you're looking at. Thank you, Chuck. So in total, we are adding 234 square feet of structure, and we are planting 351 square feet of native species. So that's a 1.5 to 1 mitigation ratio. And we don't really have room to do much more beyond that. So hopefully that's the information you were looking for, and obviously answer any questions you might have.
Okay, first off, I'll open up for public comment. Anybody in the public who wishes to speak for or against the project at 77 Atlantic Road may do so now by hitting the raise your hand button at the bottom of your screen or hitting *9 on your phone or handheld device.
There are 7 attendees present and currently no hands are up.
Okay, seeing none, hearing none, I'll close the public comment period. Now we do commissioner roll call comments.
Commissioner roll call, Member Charpentier,
No comments.
Member Cook,
No, Dan addressed all the issues. No comments.
Member Sargent,
No comment.
Member Sherman,
No comments.
and Member Gwilla.
No comment. Okay, so with that then, unless Chuck, you have anything to add, we'll move, I'll move. Anything to add, Chuck, to this?
On this one.
Okay. So that being said, I'll move to close the hearing for the project at 77 Atlantic Road.
Charpentier seconds.
Okay, roll call. Member Charpentier,
Yes.
Member Cook,
Yes.
Member Sergeant,
Yes.
Member Sherman,
yes,
and Member Gwilla.
Yes. Next up, we'll move to, if nobody else has any comments, I'll move to approve the project at 77 Atlantic Road with no aforementioned conditions. You want a second, Linda?
Charpentier seconds.
Roll call. Member Charpentier,
Yes.
Member Cook,
Yes.
Member Sergeant,
Yes.
Member Sherman,
yes.
and Member Gwilla.
Yes. Okay, you're all set. I think you're.
Thank you, commissioners.
Excuse me?
I just said thank you, but I'm not going anywhere. I have the next item as well.
Next up, notice of intent 28-2858 43 Shore Road, Ronald Norden, Dan Ottenheimer of Mill River Consulting representing. Name and address for the record again, please.
Of course, Commissioners, Dan Ottenheimer, engineer with Mill River Consulting at 6 Sergeant Street here in Gloucester. And just to refresh your memory, we're talking about an existing house at 43 Shore Road. This is on the inland side of Shore Road, and Magnolia Harbor is on the other side of Shore Road. They're proposing several activities. Repairing and upgrading the septic system to a much better quality septic system and much further away from the water is the primary activity. But also they're going to be putting in some walkways as well as making a much safer driveway. So at the last meeting, we reviewed this, and the commissioners wanted, I think appropriately so, some clarification and new information. So we have provided a table. It's on the left side, if you don't mind, Chuck, that talks about the driveway, because you're right, the commission was correct. We weren't very clear about the driveway. It is going to be a paved driveway. We have done the calculations for how much impervious area we're creating. And we had previously proposed some native species, but we were able to expand that considerably. So now if you can look at the table and see that we are providing a new pavement area, but we're providing native plant species that are 1.5 times that new pavement area, all within the buffer zone of the coastal bank. So I think we've addressed what you had for questions and concerns, but obviously if there are others, please let me know.
Okay, at this point, I'll open up to the public. Anyone in the public who wishes to speak for or against the project at 43 Shore Road may do so now by hitting the raise your hand button at the bottom of your screen or hitting *9 on your phone or handheld device.
Looks like we currently have 6 attendees and no hands are up.
Alrighty then, seeing none, hearing none, and close the public comment period. We'll go on to commissioner comments. Roll call.
Member Charpentier,
No comments.
Member Cook,
No comments at this time.
Member Sergeant,
I'd like a 2-year monitoring for mortality of the mitigation plantings.
all right, Member Sherman,
No comments.
and Member Gwilla.
No comments. Okay. Nobody has anything, Chuck, to add to this project or?
Nope.
Okay, so then with that, we will move to close the hearing. So.
Sure. Okay.
You're a little ahead of me, Linda. So
I know.
close the hearing for 43 Shore Road.
Charpentier seconds.
Roll call. Member Charpentier,
Yes.
Member Cook,
Yes.
Member Sergeant,
Yes.
Member Sherman,
Yes,
and Member Gwilla.
Yes. If nobody has anything else to add, I'll move to approve the project at 43 Shore Road with the aforementioned condition. There'll be a 2-year mortality.
Charpentier seconds.
Roll call. Member Charpentier,
Yes.
Member Cook,
Yes.
Member Sergeant,
Yes.
Member Sherman,
yes,
and Member Gwilla.
Yes. Okay, thank you, Mr. Oppenheimer. I don't know if you're on again tonight, but I don't think I see you here.
No, you're done with me, but thank you for your time, commissioners. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you for addressing all our concerns. Okay,
right.
next up, RDA 1737, 42 Atlantic Avenue, 50 Atlantic LLC, Francis Goodhue, William Manuel representing.
Wrote him here.
Bill, you there? He's muted.
Hold on.
There you are.
There we go. Okay. Bill Manuel from Wetlands and Land Management. Chuck, nice to meet you over by Zoom. Well, I'm sure we'll have the privilege of getting together on some site pretty soon. So this is a request for determination to construct a driveway through the buffer zone of remember the isolated dune that was adjudicated here at the original property was 50 Atlantic. And so folks on the commission might remember it was a really drawn out process for the ORAD. We've got that all figured out. The department issued an ORAD that confirmed all the resource areas on the original parcel and came up with an area that was determined to be a dune with no function other than it might provide a wildlife habitat. So since the issuance of that final order of resource area determination, we have gone to the planning board and got a special permit approval to construct a common driveway. We came back to the Conservation Commission to have that common driveway approved. We got an order of conditions for the portion that runs through that isolated dune and then through the buffer zone. The applicant has gone to the planning board to present an approval not required plan, which formally divided all the conceptual lots into real lots. And they've gone to the Board of Health now to get septic system approvals on all the upper lots. And so I'm here tonight with the last remaining piece. This is lot 4. And I'm here for the portion of the driveway that goes from the property line up to the buffer zone of that coastal dune. And then once we get beyond that, then we're outside of Conservation Commission jurisdiction. So it's more than 100 feet. It's about 120 feet or so from the wetlands to the left side of the plan. We've shown a silt fence along the buffer zone line just to keep everybody out of trouble, out of harm's way. We're not really concerned about siltation here because the surface is pretty sandy. This is a gravel driveway through the buffer zone, and there is a water service that's going to be installed within the driveway. And then once they get out of the buffer zone, they're out of Conservation Commission jurisdiction. So for this little bit of work through the buffer zone, we're asking for a negative determination, and that would sort of close the book on lot 4. So I wonder if the commission has any questions.
Okay, thank you, sir. I will open up for public comment. Anyone in the public wishing to speak for the or against the RDA for 42 Atlantic Ave may do so by hitting the raise your hand button at the bottom of your screen or hitting *9 on your phone or handheld device.
We currently have 6 attendees and there are no hands up. Actually, I'm sorry, we have John Klein.
Okay. Hello, John. Can you hear us?
Yes, I am. Was there a notification to abutters about this?
Mr. Manuel, do you want to answer that?
No, because this is a request for determination of applicability.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else?
No other hands are up at this time.
Okay, seeing none, hearing none, I'll close the public comment period. Next up, will be Commissioner roll call comments. Chuck?
Member Charpentier,
No comments.
Member Cook,
I'm just trying to orient this in my mind, since I'm familiar with the area. Is this the top lot that's gonna be near the existing house? That's the real question I have, is which lot is this in this area?
Chuck, you want to put up the drawing again?
yep.
Would you like to go through comments or have me respond?
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, I'm sorry, I cut off comments. Why don't we finish roll call comments? Sorry about that. So, Bill, your question once again, please?
I'm trying to understand where this lot is in relation to the 4 houses that were going up on the left-hand side of the road. Is this the one that's up at the very top? Because it doesn't show all 4 of them. And I'd kind of like to see something that showed all 4, just to reground myself on where this particular lot is in relation to everything else that was going on up there.
Okay, Member Sargent,
Yeah, and looking at the GIS orthos, it seems like some trees might need to be removed that are within this buffer zone. I'm wondering if this is true, and I'm wondering if there's any plans for mitigation if those trees have to be removed. And I also noticed that there's a reference on the plan to a view easement. It wasn't on earlier plans. I'm wondering if any vegetation within the Conservation Commission's jurisdiction would be impacted by this view easement. Thank you.
all right, Member Sherman,
Nothing other than I'd like to hear the answers to those other questions.
and Member Villa.
Same here. So, Mr. Manuel, you're up.
Okay, Chuck, would you mind putting the plan back up on the screen, please?
Yep.
So Commissioner Cook, this is the basically the first lot you would encounter as on the left side of the driveway as you go up. In the very bottom lower left corner of the screen is Atlantic Avenue. And the common driveway is cutting diagonal across the plan. And so this is not the lot, these are not the 3 highest lot. This is the lowest lot on the left side of the driveway. Does that dial you in?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, like I said, I know the boundary lines were really crazy on the when they subdivided the 4 places. That's why it just looks different. I for some reason I thought that lot actually tied in with the road itself. And it doesn't.
No, the only lot that actually accesses from the road itself is lot 5, which would be below the common driveway.
Oh, no, not that road, the dirt road, because we've got several things going on here right now. We gave you permission to grade the road and the utilities. I know that hasn't even started yet.
Correct.
And I thought those 4 lots all accessed the existing gravel road. This appears that it has to go across another lot line to get to the road.
The common driveway runs up the sort of the pork chop portion of, I believe it's lot 1, which would be the existing house lot. And so, yes, a portion of this driveway leaves the common driveway, approaches the lot 1, lot 4 property line. The commission has already approved the stub off of the common driveway up to the lot line. So this application is from the lot 4 lot line through the buffer zone.
Okay, I just, I don't recall, like I said, for me, I'd really like to see either the one with the 4 lots or, and the road, just to ground myself because I don't know, something, it looks like it's so far up on the road, it just doesn't, looks like we're crossing lines, that's all.
No, it's, you know, just for reference, there's a, as I said, in the lower left corner is the entrance of the common driveway, and that's the road that, the driveway that goes up to the house on the top.
Yeah, like I
So-
said, I just don't recall approving nubs coming off the roads like this. I thought the only one we had was up at the very top. That's why I need to see that. I mean, I can go back and try to figure it out myself, but would require an extension to do that. Unless you have that plan available on your laptop.
It would take a little bit of,
Bill, I actually do have access to it because I have access to the planning board files that are also through the city website. I can share that if you'd like.
Okay,
Actually, what, I think I'm gonna jump in here too. If, I think what's gonna happen here, because I got a few questions here too about, and I'm sure there's gonna be other comments, because this is a very sensitive area. But I think what's gonna happen, Mr. Manuel, is we're gonna go through a lot of questions and answers back and forth, but I think we're gonna have to continue, if you wanna keep this in the world of an RDA, and just give us some simple little data points and information that we're looking for. But I'm just giving you a bit of a heads up. That's where I feel this is going. So let's still do all the questions. So when you come back, you have everything ready to go and answer. But I get the feeling that's where we're headed here. It's to an RD, a continuation, but let's keep going.
so that's fine. Whatever the commission needs. I mean, we've been at this for now probably pushing 4 years, so.
I hear you. Okay. So you want to bring that drawing up again, if Bill, if you have access to it, or Greg?
Oh, I lost it. Try that again. So, Bill, if you want to describe, otherwise, it's essentially, this is the lot that you're looking at that's in the current proposal. This was the conceptual access that was provided during the review of the common driveway, and I think probably what was previously submitted in front of the commission. So it's kind of the fine detail of the proposed lot 4, which was to come off of the common driveway at this point.
okay. That was really what I was looking for, to see this in relation to
Yep.
where it was. So I have no other issues.
And you can see there too, Bill, that they do show a water stub.
Yeah, for some reason, I thought the only one we showed was up at the top, but it's showing it here, so that's fine.
Okay, thanks, Greg.
Yep.
Chuck, who is next for comments?
Commissioner Sargent had a question about trees and view easements.
Oh, I'm sorry, Chuck, it was Bill. Yep, did you want to answer those, Bill?
Yeah, I don't have a count of any trees that would be lost, but the owners are certainly willing to provide one-to-one replacement. It was a condition of the special permit, or the common driveway, that we did a tree count and we put a bunch of replacement trees in the layout for the common driveway. I'm happy with a condition that provides a tree count and a one-to-one replacement. Secondly, the question of the view easements is to make sure that no subsequent lot owner puts a structure within that view easement. Now, there's been no clearing or vista pruning or anything of that nature. It's just to make sure that those views are held open for the original owner.
Okay. Did anyone else have any questions or comments? Who is up next? I'm sorry, actually, we were going in order here. I think, Mrs. Sargent, Dave, did you have comments?
I'm happy with, the replacement of the trees. would be helpful to know the number rather than, just some amorphous, number out there. And if there's mitigation, I would want at least a 2-year, mortality monitoring.
Yeah, all that's acceptable. The owner's been amenable all through the process.
Robert, any comments?
No,
Okay. All right then, I guess unless anyone has an issue, it seems like, I don't know if you want them to add a quantity. Dave, you really are the only one that has kind of an outstanding issue here, or do you want to continue?
It's not the hill I want to defend until I die. The number of trees that are there. And I do trust Bill to a certain degree.
Well, I appreciate that, Dave, to a certain degree.
Okay, so with that then, this is an RDA. This is, we're looking for a negative determination. Obviously, there's going to be other projects on this hill. We're getting an opportunity to see how well Mr. Manuel and his team does that, that one-to-one, that mitigation issue. I'm sure we'll be on that hill for another project. So unless anybody has any other comments or wants to move to a positive determination or a continuation, I'll move to close the hearing. Okay.
I can agree with that.
You're good with that, Bill? You're good?
Yes.
So with that, then, can I get a motion to close the hearing for the project at 42, is that the one? Yeah, 42 Atlantic Avenue.
You're making the
that a-
motions, Rob.
Was that a motion?
I
Or
gotta
do you
close
want-
it first.
You're making the motions, Rob.
I know, but, didn't I just move to close the hearing? I'm moving
No,
to close
Shepherd.
the hearing for RDA 42, RDA 1737, 42 Atlantic Ave.
Now Charpentier seconds.
Member Charpentier,
Yes,
Member Cook,
Yes.
Member Sargent,
Yes.
Member Sherman,
yes,
Member Biller.
Yes. Okay, next up would then be for a negative determination, to approve a negative determination for the project at 1737 42 Atlantic Avenue.
Charpentier seconds.
Roll call, Member Charpentier,
Yes,
Member Cook,
Yes.
Member Sargent,
Yes.
Member Sherman,
abstain.
and Member Biller.
Yes. Okay. Looks like you're all set there, Ms. Emanuel.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Next up, RDA 173896 Magnolia Avenue, John and Carolyn Kerwin, John Jetta Gateway Consultants representing.
Right, so next we've got Tyler Judd here with his hand up.
All right, can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right, good evening, everybody, and nice to meet you, Mr. Shade. My name is Tyler Judd. I am an EIT with Gateway Consultants, and for this project, I'll be representing John and Carolyn Kerwin over at 96 Magnolia Ave. The applicant would like to make some improvements to their backyards with some native plantings. However, there are some existing wetlands if you'd like to share the screen. Yeah.
There we
Yep.
go.
Yep, right there. In the backyard, if you zoom in a little bit, you can see it a little bit better. They're kind of sporadic, spread out, but they're just looking to put in some mitigation plantings. I'm going to pass this over to the designer, Hillary Holdsworth, who will go into a little bit more detail about the proposed work for the plantings and some masonry work. I believe she's on this call.
Can you promote her, Chuck?
Yeah. Sorry, that was Hillary.
Yeah, Hillary Holdsworth, she should have her hand up.
Promoted to panelist.
I see her. I see her name.
Yo, how
Hello,
about that?
better.
Excellent.
Name and address for the record, please.
Hillary Holdsworth, 19 Rear Walker Street in Gloucester, Mass.
Excellent, okay. And a brief description of what we're doing here.
So I do, Tyler, can you put up the plans that I sent to John that show, there are two separate plans, one in the backyard that's fully in the 100-foot buffer, and then one of the front yard that is partially in the 100-foot buffer.
Yeah, I believe Mr. Shade has those on that PowerPoint.
Right, you've got them on file.
Yeah, I can pull those up.
Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, so this area is the one of the areas in question. It is currently super wet most of the year, and all we have in mind for this area, apart from enjoying the attention of mosquitoes every summer, is to plant native wet-loving plant material. So there's existing lawn in that area. And we have a number of native plants that we just want to put in this area, including at the back by the property line, Betula nigra heritage, which is a native birch. And these are all the sorts of plants that will enjoy sort of anaerobic soils for extended periods. So they'll take wet feet throughout the spring and most of the summer. In a typical year, this year is entirely different, obviously. But that's what's planned for that part of the yard. Also, in terms of hardscaping, a small either bluestone circular, I don't have a pointer to sort of help out with that, but a bluestone circular level terrace for them. And they currently have, let me just pull it up on my own screen to remind myself of the square footage. They currently have 2,365 square feet of existing 3/4 inch pea stone driveway. And they're hoping to expand that toward that wet area by 800 square feet. They're having difficulty turning their cars around and making that, making the turn to be able to get in and out of their driveway.
Okay, so why don't we, is that the whole presentation?
It is not, so there we go, we're scrolling. So then the other side of the house bordering Magnolia Avenue, we wanted to do some planting there. Currently, there's not a single plant in the front yard, and a bluestone walkway so that the two units, they can have solid footing to get into the front doors of each of their units.
So now I remember this property. This is a two-family, correct? That's a
Yes.
one, and
Yep.
I'll applaud them because I don't, usually we have to ask for this, but I know it was part of the original order that they were going to do a detailed planting plan. So this is pretty detailed, so I'm very happy to see that.
Great.
That being said, we're a commission, so we got to go through what everyone else thinks, unless you guys have anything more to add, that being Tyler or Hillary, I'll move to the commissioner comments, public comments. So with that, I will open it up for public comment. Anyone who wishes to speak for or against the project at 96 Magnolia Avenue may do so now by hitting the raise your hand button at the bottom of your screen or hitting *9 on your phone or handheld device.
We have 3 attendees and there are currently no hands up.
Seeing none, hearing none, I'll close the public comment period. Roll call commissioner comments, please.
Member Charpentier,
No comments?
Member Cook,
Very impressive plan, no comments.
Member Sargent,
I would like some clarification if any work is proposed in or near the wetland by the driveway where 18-inch maple and mulch are noted on the plan.
So we're gonna go through all these comments, Tyler and Hillary, and then you can respond.
Member Sherman?
Or anything else to add?
It just strikes me, I was not on the commission when this project came for you before, but it seems like it's being presented as simply as putting in plants, but it's not just putting in plants that were part of the order of condition previously, but it's because of mitigation for additional work being done. And it just seems to me like it's being presented as simply planting plants when it seems to me that's not what it is.
I'm not sure I understand, Rob. Go ahead, explain to me again.
Well, it seems like this is being presented as the planting plan for the previous work that was done on the property. But it does seem like additional work is being done, the extension of the driveway and the addition of the patio. So, I mean, the first words that I heard were, we just want to put some native plantings in, and that is, it's mitigation for additional work being done and not just complying with the previous order conditions.
And how would you consider remedying that? More,
I just think it was a matter of presentation for me, that it was the first words that I heard were that was adding plantings and adding native plantings, and not because we are also adding these other features.
right, I got it. Okay. So on the final one, on the roll call comments, I would guess, I get what Bob's saying, which is basically you had a requirement to fulfill with the order of conditions to offset the project prior, and now it seems like you're adding more, you're not mitigating for the original project. So that's what we were originally wanting to see, which I now understand what Mr. Sherman's saying, and he is correct. We need one plan that does the mitigation problem for the project. And I don't know the extent of that. You have to go look at the old plan to see what the ratio we were approved was for plants to impervious. And then you would come to us with a planting plan for that. This seems to be a different plan, created more impervious surfaces to offset that project. Does that make sense?
It does make sense, and it's not a conversation that I had with John Judd, who had originally applied for that original NOI, so I'm not aware of any kind of mitigation that was still required on that property.
Okay, I think what we're gonna do here is just give you a chance. It could be okay, based on you have such an overwhelming planting plan here, you might be able to cover both with what you're doing.
Right?
You basically were supposed to, not you, but your client was basically supposed to take that footprint to the house. And I think they did provide a plan though. That's a long time ago. I remember they did something. So
Right.
with your permission, I think we'd like to continue this to the next hearing and give you a chance to kind of go through all that and make sure we covered all our bases.
Right. The original client being the original developer whose name escapes me at the moment, but that was with whom John originally worked.
Correct.
Yep, okay.
It should be in the order of conditions. And again, I do believe they did something prior, something, either a plan for planting or something like that. But
I'll
with that,
find out.
if you don't mind, to be safe, we'd like to continue for another 2 weeks, if that's okay.
That's fine. Yep.
Commissioners, any other comments? Anything to add?
I had a question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
We just pull up the area here where it's showing the mulch.
Right.
That's existing mulch.
It is.
Okay, just because we have the wetland there, and I just don't like the idea of proposing any additional what could be fill into a wetland there.
Right. Yeah, no, that's all. This is how I found the site, what you're looking at now.
So you're not proposing any additional mulch in.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right then. With that, we're going to move to continue the project for RDA 173896 Magnolia Avenue to, what's the new next hearing date?
It'll be September 7th.
September what?
7th.
I got a motion to continue the project at RDA 173896 Magnolia Ave to September 7, 2020.
Charpentier seconds.
Roll call, Member Charpentier,
Yes.
Member Cook,
Yes.
Member Sargent,
Yes,
Member Sherman,
Yes,
and Member Villa.
Yes. Thank you. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Thanks very much, commissioners.
Thank you.
Next up. Actually, this one I saw, I probably should recuse. Do you mind running the meeting, Linda?
On 96 Magnolia Ave,
No, the 93 Wingersheek Road.
93 Wingo Street, that's right. Okay,
All right, I'm gonna shut up. Bill, do you mind seconding anything or continuations or anything? You'll.
No problem.
Excellent. All right, I'm gonna shut my screen off for a second.
okay. Next up is NOI 0282863 93 Wingersheek Road, Rosemary Tagliente, Bill Manuel presenting.
Hi, this is Bill Manuel, Wetlands and Land Management. And so this is a relatively straightforward project. This is a home that has, right along the beach at 93 Wingersheek Road. And with, as with many other homes along the beach, they have a footpath that goes up and over the primary dune and out to the beach. And as time goes on, that footpath tends to get deeper and deeper and deeper. And so the owners are concerned about the preservation of the dune and have a proposal to do basically what coastal zone management feels is a best management practice for traversing over dunes, is to create an elevated boardwalk so that they're not constantly tracking over the dune, disturbing vegetation, causing the scarp to erode. And so here's a proposal. They do have a very thin strip of land that goes out to the beach. This barely squeaks in accordance with zonings. That it basically is fixed where it is right now. There's no latitude to move this left or right. But it is an elevated boardwalk. Our details showed that we would make it 18 inches above the dune surface. It is the cross section of the boardwalk would have spaces between the slats on the decking of the boardwalk. The decking would be some composite material, and the posts would be like ACQ type product for embedding in the actual sand dune. So nothing toxic, no toxic materials would be used. We would basically start with the deck on the landward side, embed the posts with hand digging, and work our way out. It's about, the entire feature is 88 feet long. That includes the initial set of stairs to get up the height above the dune. And then basically this would be a ramped feature that essentially follows the incline of the primary dune up to the top. And then the last section is a landing where they had hoped to perhaps store beach chairs and that sort of stuff. And then a seasonal set of steps, detachable and seasonal. They can be removed at the end of the beach season. That's the last 15 feet, and that would help them traverse down over the scarp. At the end of the project, they would close in the existing footpath by planting beach grass and allowing that area to restore. And as I said, all of this is basically coastal zone management best practices. I have seen the DEP comments. I guess the flavor of the day here is 24 inches for an elevated boardwalk. So we would revise the plan to provide a 24 inches separation from the bottom structural part of the boardwalk to the top of the dune surface. That's just an increase of 6 inches in height, not a big deal. It is in area mapped as priority habitat and natural habitat. Not surprisingly, it's the piping plover along the section of Barrier Beach. We did submit to Natural Heritage and we did receive a conditional no-take letter. Chuck, that was originally emailed to Adrian Lennon's email address. I forwarded that to Debbie Laurie to make sure that your office got it. I now have your email address, as you know. But it's important that you take note of the conditions that are in this conditional no-take. The no-take specifies that the order of conditions should have a time of year restriction, restricting it from April 1, no construction April 1 to August 31, and to allow the state or a qualified plover monitor to identify nesting sites, as they call it, with what do they call it, with symbolic fencing, warning signs, twine fencing and such, to allow that on the beach in front of the home. And those two conditions have to be in the order of conditions for this conditional no-take to be valid. So I'm just calling your attention to that
Again.
as when you prepare to do this order of conditions. There was some other DEP comments about trying to angle the ramp or the boardwalk. As I said, we're really locked in by zone and we don't have the latitude to angle it. And this is pretty consistent with what's gone on up and down the beach. The elevated walkways pretty much go straight out perpendicular to the beach and doesn't seem to be much problem. Matter of fact, it seems to be a fairly good improvement because we're not having that constant wearing down of the dunes. So that is the extent of it. As I said, it's 83 feet long. The stairs are seasonal. We've got our natural heritage determination, non-toxic materials, and we're going to restore the footpath. So that's it.
Okay, then I will open up for public comment. If there's anybody in the public who wishes to comment on NOI 028-2863 93 Wingersheik Road, please raise your hand.
We currently have 2 attendees, and I'm not seeing any hands up this time.
Okay, seeing none, hearing none, we'll close that public hearing. And I guess we'll look at commissioner comments.
All right, Member Charpentier.
I don't have any. I think they were covered very well by that letter with the
Member Cook?
conditions.
No comments.
Member Sargent.
In addition to the national heritage conditions, I would like a 2-year monitoring for mortality of the plantings in the restored footpath.
Member Sherman.
I guess I have some concerns about the protection of the plover habitat. As listed in the conditions, the state listed species protection says the property owner has the responsibility of protecting breeding piping plovers and state listed species. It says, therefore, the property owner must allow regulatory monitoring of the presence of piping plovers and terns by a qualified shorebird monitor. I simply don't know of any mechanism. I don't know of any agency that is actively surveying for piping plover nests, particularly on private property. And so I just don't understand how that condition can possibly be met.
I
That's my-
think that was the end of the commission's comments, so I'll jump in there.
I guess I just had one more question too. There's additional DEP comments about the maximum width on the proposed landing being a maximum of 4 feet. It's currently, it looks like 5 feet. Is that something that,
As I said, it's something that the owners prefer because it's where they would put their beach chairs and such without dragging them back to the house. And with the proper spacing and the elevation above the dune, I don't see why that would be any different than the rest of the walkway. So to answer or address Mr. Sherman's comments, this is a fairly standard form letter, conditional no-take letter. And you're right, I'm not aware of any agency that is actively monitoring piping plover nesting on Wingersheek Beach. Former agent Adrian Lennon was much more closer to this than I, and she may have been aware. But basically it says if someone is out there monitoring, then the homeowner has to allow it. That's all it's saying.
Okay, I understand that. Yep.
Okay. So we finished with the commissioner comments. Then I will move to close the public comments on this. And is there someone to second that?
Second it.
right, roll call, Member Charpentier,
Yes.
Member Cook,
Yes.
Member Sargent,
Yes.
and Member Sherman.
We are voting to close the comment period. Is that correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, and then Charpentier moves to accept NOI 028286393 Wingersheek Road with the aforementioned conditions, including Commissioner Sargent's 2-year monitoring plan on the planting.
And I second the motion.
All right, Member Charpentier,
And
Yes,
before you take a vote, we are going to give you a revised plan that shows it being 24 inches above the dune surface. So whether you want to make that contingent approval or just require that in an order of conditions, just be aware that we're going to give you a revised plan.
then we should probably continue this until we have and put you up early on the agenda for next session, so that we have the plan and we're not doing a conditional approval. Does that make sense? Chuck, any comments on that? Typically, we don't do conditional approvals.
yes, I think would be good to see the updated plans. And I'll
Okay.
get a chance to review the conditional no-take letter. I haven't had a chance to review that yet.
Okay.
Yeah,
and-
that's fine. I don't like to step in front of a moving approval, but I think it's better this way that you have a final plan with the correct details.
I had totally forgotten that. Thank you, Bill. So I will change that motion and it will be to continue this NOI to the meeting of September 7th. And we'll ask Chuck to put you up in the front so I can just.
And I'll
brief
second
you.
that motion.
All right, roll call, Member Charpentier,
Yes,
Member Cook,
Yes.
Member Sargent,
Yes.
and Member Sherman.
Yes.
Thank you.
okay.
Okay,
So,
I'm on the commission.
Okay,
Thank you, Linda, for taking care of that. Thank you, Bill. Next up, notice of intent 28-2646, 2864. Wow. I got that number. 155 Wingersheek Road, David Combe, Bill Manuel of Wetlands and Land Management Deep representing. We're asking for a continuation here, are we not?
Yes,
Yep.
yep. Till September 7th.
Say that again? Who says it?
They're looking to continue to September 7th.
Okay, excellent. All right, so can I get a motion to continue the project at notice of intent 28-2864, 155 Winger Sheep Road to September 7th, 2022.
Charpentier moves to continue this project to the meeting of September 7th.
I second it.
Roll call. Member Charpentier,
Yes,
Member Cook,
Yes.
Member Sergeant,
Yes,
Member Sherman,
Yes,
and Member Villa.
Yes. All right, we'll see you in a few weeks, Mr. Manuel. Thank you. Next up, notice of intent. Did for 18 Radcliffe, did we get a DP number, Chuck, by any chance, or no?
Not yet, no.
Okay, so next up would be notice of intent 28-XXX, 18 Radcliffe Street, Jennifer Taylor and Peter. I'm gonna go with order or Dentledge, John Judd representing.
Yep. Hello again, everybody. Tyler Judd, EIT with Gateway Consultants. For this property, I'll be representing Jennifer Taylor and Peter Ordentlich over at 18 Ratcliffe Street. If Mr. Shade could pull up the plan, I'll show you what they would like to do. Down at the bottom right of the property of this plan, you'll see that they want to, basically all they want to do is remove the existing wood deck and replace it in the exact same footprint. They would like to install 6 2x2 precast footings that you can see if you scroll up a little bit. Yeah, right there. Just 6 of those just to support it. And then also the ground is 1 foot lower than the top of the existing wall. So it'll act like a barrier, if you will, for any construction and any of that, any of your concerns with that. If there's any other questions, I'd be happy to answer them, but that's pretty much it. They just want to reconstruct it within the same footprint.
Okay, I'll open up for public comment first. Anyone in the public who wishes to speak for or against the project at 18 Ratcliffe Street may do so now by hitting the raise your hand button at the bottom of your screen or hitting *9 on your phone or handheld device.
We currently have 2 attendees and I see no hands up.
Okay, seeing none, hearing none, close the public comment period. We'll go on to commissioner comments.
Member Charpentier,
yeah, I'm just curious, with putting in new footings, what's the current deck sitting on? I'm
It's
assuming-
currently supported by wood piles. So it's if you go out there and take a look at it, it's a little broken, just from wear and tear. It's been there for quite a while now,
Good,
many
thank you.
years.
okay, Member Cook,
No comments.
Member Sergeant,
no comment.
Member Sherman,
I guess I'd just be interested to when the existing deck was built.
I don't have the knowledge of that. I can take a look and see when the house itself was built, which that would just be in the online on the report card, if I could find that.
If I may jump in, Bob, are you looking at, how this thing got here to begin with?
Exactly.
Yeah, so right here. Yeah, I'm just taking a look at the property report card to take a look at when it was built.
Usually that card also shows any other structures on the site. Or talks.
Right. Yeah, 1994, the windows, 95 decks, 2007 windows, 2019, the roof,
go back to decks. What did you see with decks? What date?
Decks, I have 1995.
That's pretty new.
Time to do it.
And then, yeah, sorry, back to when it was built, 1926 is when the original house was built, but I'm sure many renovations have been made since then.
So I guess what we're heading here is, I mean, without putting too fine a point on it, was that deck legally brought, either it's, if it's old enough and you can substantiate it, and it was before the Wetlands Protection Act, then that's great. But for us to allow us to put a deck right on the water like that seems odd to us. That's why we're questioning. So it might just fall in that weird zone where it was built a long time ago. But I think, again, I hate to do it to you, but I think we need you to just do a little research to make sure that deck, maybe the owners know, and have some pictures showing it pre-1980 that would put it before the Wetlands Protection Act. Because it seems like it might be, you know, an illegally approved structure. We rarely would allow a deck right up on the seawall like that.
Okay.
So sorry to do it to you again, but we're going to continue again, and maybe you can clarify that for us by the next meeting.
Okay.
Thank you, Tyler. Okay, commissioners, anything else to add before we continue this? Okay, so then with that, we will continue can I get a motion to continue the project at 18 Radcliffe Street to September 7th, 2022.
Charpentier moves to continue the project at 18 Radcliffe Street to the meeting of September 7th.
Bill Cook seconds.
Member Secretary,
Yes,
Member Cook,
Yes.
Member Surgeon,
Yes.
Member Sherman,
Yes,
and Member Gullah.
Yes. Thank you, Tyler. Next up. Where am I? Notice of intent 28 no DEP number, nothing dropped for this project either. Chuck?
Not at this point. Nope.
Okay, so notice of intent 28 XXX 63 Shore Road, Cecilia Kelly, Johnny Gateway Consultants Inc. representing. Guess that's you again, Tyler.
Yeah, no, I got a lot tonight. Yeah, let me just pull it
Name and
up
address
really
of the record,
quick.
Jim?
Yeah, sorry. All right, for the record, Tyler Judd, EIT with Gateway Consultants, representing Cecilia Kelly over at 63 Shore Road. The applicant would like to, or proposes to replace the existing failed system with an advanced effluent treatment system. Currently, pretty much the entire property is in the buffer zone to a coastal bank. The plan and system has already been approved by the Board of Health, and there will be no increase in the driveway's pavement at all. So that will remain as is. A silt fence will be installed across the road, as you can see, across the street. And yeah, overall, this will be an improvement to the existing system that's already there, given that we're using advanced treatment. And yeah, be happy to answer any more questions if you guys got them.
Okay. I'll open up for public comment. Does anybody in the public wishes to speak for or against the project at 63 Shore Road?
We have 3 attendees and 2 folks with hands up. Calling Jim Noga first. He has hand up first.
All right, can you hear me?
Yep. Name and address of the project.
Yeah, I'm at 61-1 Shore Road, which is the immediate abutter that you see on the plan. I don't know whether it's a for or against, but the current situation with the paved driveway at 63, when it rains or snow melts, we get a ponding effect on Shore Road, and it spills over all the way into sort of the frontal area of our property on Shore Road. It freezes, in rain, it's ponding, it evaporates and leaves a mud trail. I just had to have some work done in terms of asphalting at significant cost because that ponding basically eroded away the road. And I would want to make sure that that situation is mitigated. In fact, when we did our septic, I call it the golden flush next door, given the price, is they insisted that we not have a paved driveway and that we have a permeable surface to eliminate as much possible spillage directly into Shore Road. So it's a common. I see the absolute need to have that system upgraded. It's been failed for quite time. It's been continued for years, long overdue. I just want to make sure that the Shore Road situation is mitigated as part of the plan.
Okay, thank you, sir. Someone else?
All right, we also have another hand up, John Lukens. I'll allow you to talk.
John, you're up.
Yes, thank you, Commissioners. This is John Lukens, 20 Fuller Street. Just a quick question. This appears to be a septic plan. Is it only septic, or is there any other activity going on with this plan?
All right, Mr. Judd, you can answer that when we go through all the comments, so.
Yeah, water will also be relocated to allow for construction for the new septic system.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else?
Those are the only two hands up at this point.
Okay. Tyler, just so you know, usually what we do is let everyone speak first and then you rebut.
Oh, so I apologize. I thought you wanted me to talk. Sorry.
Said it sooner, but yeah, so we let everyone speak, and then rather than try and go back and forth, take notes and then try and get it in one group. Okay, so then based on that, let's move to commissioner comments, please.
Okay, Member Charpentier.
Yeah, could you explain what the phrase that you just used? You said that water will be relocated for construction of the septic system. What does that mean?
So just write that down. He's gonna write that down, and then he's gonna answer them all one way.
Yep.
Anything else? Linda?
No.
Bill?
Okay, Member Cook.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we've had a couple of these situations where we're going in, looking at what should be fairly simple is the replacement of an existing septic system, and it's being dragged into fixing a lot of what's been ongoing drainage issues. We've had several of these recently. There is nothing in the plans to do that. And going back to what Linda said, so I would like to see what the plan was to do it. And the second part is, do we have any leeway as far as not allowing it to be repaved and having it go to a cobblestone or a permeable? I don't care how permeable, but permeable.
You put the drawing back up, Chuck, too, please?
Yep.
That's all I had.
Dave, do you have anything to add?
I'm wondering if they would consider using pervious pavers or pervious pavement for the driveway. There is pervious pavement, and maybe that would be a good compromise.
Okay.
Chairman.
I have nothing further than what was already mentioned, but it does seem like it would be a vast improvement if that could become a permeable surface.
Villa.
Nothing other than what's already been said. I think that my biggest concern here is, and this came up on another project, we really, though I hear about the neighbor issues, for a conservation commission, we worry about the conservation issues. We try and help when we can, and try and, like Mr. Sargent and Mr. Sherman had good ideas for using pervious pavement, but really our focus should be on the environment, and a well-functioning, high efficiency septic system, I think, is what we should be focused on, basically. But I do applaud you. Again, my commissioner is trying to help. So with that, Tyler, why don't you go through the list of questions the commissioners had? And see if you can answer them for us, please.
Sure. So from the commission, the first question.
The water issue, water line.
Yeah, the water issues. So we're not, as you can see on the contours, the proposed contours in the middle of the leaching field, it's not increasing in height or anything. It's not changing. So it's not going to be affecting the drainage any more than it already is. So that would be my answer for that.
Okay.
I still don't know what that means. Water will be relocated.
Oh, yep.
Where is it being relocated? What's being relocated and where?
Yeah, if Mr. Shade, if you could zoom in to the beginning of the property, the bottom where you can see the dark water line. Yeah, just like that. So we can currently see where the water is coming in. If you look at where it says number 1554, that's where the water is going to be coming. Yeah, the bottom left corner of the property, that's where it's going to be relocated to. Can you see that?
So they're relocating the water line out of the way of the septic system, Linda. That's what-
Oh, okay.
Okay, what's next, Tyler? What was on your list?
It was just those two, and then just permeable pavers. If we could do something like that with the driveway, we would be more than willing to do that if that would satisfy you guys.
I think it's a good option. I don't know if it, as long as it doesn't cause any dysfunction in the septic system, I'm on board with it. But I mean, the septic system is the primary thing we should be focused on. I think it's a great idea if we can do it, and we'll put it in the order. But if for some reason it screws with the function, come back to us with either an RDA or a modification to explain why.
Okay.
Yeah, Rob, in fairness to Mr. Judd, there's typically a significant cost difference between paving it and putting in the permeable pavers. I don't know if that's something that, should be discussed with the homeowner prior to us going ahead and approving it.
So you're suggesting we don't put a condition for any
Right.
we don't not
Oh, we could,
allow them to pay.
like I said, I mean, we can put that into conditions, that it be permeable pavers. But in fairness, because there's probably a significant cost difference, that may be something that they want to bounce off the homeowner before it gets approved. And now they're stuck with that additional cost.
I hear you. And again, I applaud you helping, but again, I go back to, I'm okay with conditioning it that way, but I would also be, again, cognizant of, it could cause problems. I don't know. I don't want to get involved in telling people what they can and can't use. I'm just going to say it's a functioning septic system. It needs a new septic system. And great, if they can use pavers, great. If they can use asphalt, great. I really don't want to get into that world. Like you said, it really should be on their discretion, as long as it doesn't affect the system, because that's really what we're reviewing here, and what the system that is protecting some wetland in the area, obviously. So I would stick to that. So we really don't have to condition it one way or the other. We'll just approve the project as is, and they can determine which system they want to use. That sound reasonable?
If I may jump in, Rob, I believe that the surface of the driveway goes beyond just the a cost or convenience to the property owner or to the inconvenience of the neighbors. I think if it results in flooding or ponding on Shore Road, that is Shore Road, and on the other side of Shore Road is the shore. So I do think there's an environmental component to this where if constant flooding goes in, and especially as we get, as sea level rise and more constant storms, that Shore Road floods a lot. And if we can do anything that would protect the resource, is the Magnolia Harbor there. I think it goes beyond just the inconvenience or convenience of the property owners, but we should be trying to prevent flooding on Shore Road if we can do that.
Okay, I agree with that. So then why don't we leave it with this? If all the commissioners agree, I mean, we can go through it back and forth, but I don't have a problem. That's a nice thing, segue into the harbor. So I would suggest the commission move towards some sort of pervious system. We don't have to dictate which pervious system, but the surface should be pervious.
Okay,
Kind of on board
we
with that?
condition it must be a pervious surface.
There we go.
And I just want to say that a person who's been on been a health agent and approved many septic systems, the more aerobic activity, meaning the more air, the better the system's going to function.
Okay, Tyler, so we're gonna move to close the hearing next. So Linda, you want to close the hearing for?
Charpentier moves to close the hearing on 63 Shore Road.
Bill Cook seconds.
Roll call, Member Charpentier,
Yes,
Member Cook,
Yes.
Member Sargent,
Yes,
Member Sherman,
Yes,
and Member Gwillim.
Yes. Next up, can we move to approve if nobody has any other questions?
oh, we need a DEP number for this. Do we have one?
We don't have a DEP number yet.
Oh, so we gotta move to continue this. Sorry, Tyler.
Yes,
We're gonna get some time to do some research because we don't have the DEP number. So yes.
right.
Okay, can we
Now
take
let's move
advantage?
to continue the project.
Yeah, can we take advantage of this then to have the plan upgraded to show a permeable driveway?
Sure can. Okay, so let's move to continue the project at 63 Shore Road, not,
Charpentier moves to continue the project at 63 Shore Road to the commission meeting of September 7th.
Bill Cook seconds.
Roll call, Member Charpentier,
Yes,
Member Cook,
Yes.
Member Sargent,
yes,
Member Sherman,
yes.
and Member Gwillim.
yes. Thank you, Tyler. See you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you.
Next up, notice of intent, no DEP number, 6 and 10 Winter Haven Road, Ryan Marks, John Jetta Gateway Consultants representing. Oh, you're back, Tyler. Wow, your dad really
Yeah.
likes the reins, huh?
Last one, I swear. All right. All right, for the record, one more time. Tyler Judd, EIT with Gateway Consultants, representing Andrew Stevens at 6 Winter Haven Road. This project is going to be for an extension for sewer and water. The applicant proposes to extend sewer and water from Keystone Road all the way up to Winter Haven Road. Only number 6 will be making the initial connection to their existing house, which is Mr. Stevens. And then both of these properties, number 6 and 10, they both have frontage on Essex Avenue. But that's the property's so large, you could see it on the locus maybe. But the connection will be within the buffer zone to a wetland, but we'll have erosion control fences on both sides of Winter Haven Road in that little narrow pocket right there. The plan's already been approved by Mike Hill with the Gloucester DPW. If you guys have any other questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Okay, I'll open up for public comment. Does anybody in the public wish to speak for or against the project at 6 and 10 Winter Haven Road? If you do, you may hit the raise your hand button at the bottom of your screen. or *9 on their phone or handheld device.
Only one attendee, and she was a co-presenter with Tyler earlier, so I don't think she's.
Okay.
But there we go.
Seeing none, hearing none, close the public comment period. Roll call comments from commissioners.
Member Charpentier.
Are any trees coming down with this project? That's my only question.
Member Cook.
No additional questions.
Member Sargent.
Yeah, I'd like more detail on the flagged wetlands on either side of Winter Haven Road. I believe these wetlands are or were hydrologically connected. Wondering if there's presently a culvert and if there are any additional precautions proposed at this crossing. According to the plan, there's only a few feet of elevation between the wetlands and Winter Haven Road. With the likelihood that there will be increased impervious surfaces within this watershed as a result of the sewer extension, it would be prudent to ensure that the roadway does not get flooded. It's also a certainty that groundwater will be encountered in the installation of these utilities. It should be conditioned that no untreated water from this project may discharge into the wetlands. Thank you.
Member Sherman.
As it looks like we're also waiting for DEP file number for this project, I guess I'll not extend it any further and wait until our next hearing.
All right, so that's everybody, Tyler. If you want to answer some of those questions, that'll be good.
Sure. Currently, no trees will be knocked down, to answer your question.
Okay, thank you.
And then Mr. Sargent, so I'm just wondering, what was your question? They sounded a little bit more like comments. You said low elevation for the,
well,
you're concerned about flooding with the roadway.
Well, that was more my precaution, but
right.
I'm wondering, the two wetlands that are on the either side of Winter Haven, I know at one time that they were hydrologically connected, and I'm wondering if there's a culvert presently there, and what other additional precautions are going to be made during that precaution, you know, to protect those wetlands as well as the water that be traveling, subgrade underneath the road, through the roadbed, as well as any installation of the utilities along Keystone or Winter Haven. I'm certain that you're going to encounter groundwater in doing that. And I wouldn't want any of that groundwater to be discharged without treatment into the wetlands.
Got all that, Tyler?
Yeah. Yeah, so as of right now, we're using SDR 35 PVC. We don't show any insulation for that, so.
Okay, well,
and
this so you can refine your thinking, but in general, I haven't been down there in a while, but our biggest concern is at one point there was some sort of culvert between those two. Digging in that line, you're probably going to hit that culvert. You may have, the city has the ability to do culvert replacements and stuff. So, but we need to, those are two wetlands, or it is an intermittent stream in a wetland, that we just need to make sure that they're protected, not only when you're done, but during the process. So that's really, I think, what Dave Sargent's concerned about and the commission's concerned about is there's a flow. Obviously, we're not getting any flow right now, but there is usually some water moving through that area. So to protect it, we just need to know that everything's being done in a manner that protects the resource, but also, hooking up to sewer is a good thing for us. We have one less septic system near resources, but it still needs to be done in a manner that protects the resource, that's all. Because when you go to dig, you're gonna end up with dirt everywhere. We need to make sure dirt from the road and dirt from a resource is two different dirt, so we need to be careful.
right. Oh, sorry to cut you off. If I can pull up the NOI really quick. Here we are. we're gonna be using those silt bags. I'll try to explain those a little bit more.
Yeah, I think if the, I didn't think it would change any day, but I think if the project starts sooner rather than later, you're probably not gonna have a water issue, right? But we can
Right.
deluge, and then we gotta manage a stream while you're putting in a, that's all.
Mhm. Yeah, and we'll address that. We obviously have to continue this anyway because we don't have the DP number. But we will be using the sediment filter bags in order to control the sediment during the dewatering process.
Okay. Water, that's a big part of it as well. Okay, so why don't we continue it and clean up some of this and answer some of our questions at the next meeting?
Perfect.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and with that, commissioners, we want to go get a motion to continue the project at 6 and 10 Winter Haven Road to September 7th, 2022.
Charpentier moves to continue the project at 6 and 10 Winter Haven Road to the commission meeting of September 7th.
Bill Cook seconds.
Roll call, member Charpentier,
Yes,
member Cook,
Yes.
member Sargent,
Yes.
member Sherman,
Yes,
and member Goa.
Yes. All right, Mr. Judd, we're gonna see a lot of you next in a couple of weeks, so hope everything goes well by then. All right.
Yeah, thank you,
Thank
Commissioner.
you. All right, commissioners, we're moving on to certificates of compliance, or do we have to move to continue that one at, yes, we do.
Yeah, we move to continue to September 7th on the commercial.
Yes, exactly. You want to move that, Linda?
Charpentier moves to continue RCOC 0282678, 28 Rockport Road to the meeting of September 7th.
No.
No, no.
44 Commercial Street.
Oh, 44 Commercial, sorry. Charpentier moves to continue the project at NOI 0282865, 44 Commercial Street to the meeting of September 7th.
Bill Cook seconds.
Roll call, member Charpentier,
Yes,
member Cook,
Yes.
member Sargent,
Yes.
member Sherman,
yes,
and member Goa.
Yes. Okay, we're into certificate of compliances. So we have ROC 28-2550, 95 Willow Street. Robert and Diane Berkey, is that one good to go, Chuck, or?
Yes, I made a site visit out there last week, and everything looked good. There was no evidence of any kind of erosion or anything where the ramp was installed there, and everything looked good. Yeah, I have some pictures for you if you want to look at them in the Google Drive.
Excellent. All right, anyone have any questions or comments on this project? Linda, you want to move it?
okay. Charpentier moves to approve our COC 0282550 at 95 Wheeler Street.
Bill Cook seconds.
Member Charpentier,
Yes,
member Cook,
Yes.
member Sargent,
Yes.
member Sherman,
abstain.
and member Goa.
Yes. Okay, next up is RCOC 28-2678, 28 Rockport Road, Robert Burley. I don't understand what this continued to meeting to be determined, so it's not ready?
Correct, yes, we're waiting to hear another plan back from them once they talk to an engineer or somebody to develop what they're gonna remediate what they're doing out there.
Okay. I don't know what's going on. Your mic seems, we lose you in and out. Maybe it's just me, but your mic seems to be a little weak. At times it drifts off. I don't know if it's the computer or it doesn't look like you're moving, so I don't think it's you.
Okay, I'll try and figure something out for the next meeting.
There we go. See, right now you're fine, but sometimes you just kind of, all we hear is, that's a losing
Say that about,
So we are on hold then for that 28 Rockport Road, is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Okay, so we usually, if they're not ready, don't list them.
Okay.
All right, so next is RCOC 28-2744 and 2778, 6 Sandy Way, Robert Muscatoni, I don't know. Not Wherein LLC. Is this one all set to go?
That one also, did send this out last week. Everything looks like it's buttoned up and yep, looks like it's been there for a while and looks like it's good to go.
You want to move that, Linda?
Yep, Charpentier moves to approve RCOC 0282744 and 2778 at 60 Sandy Way.
Bill Cook seconds.
Roll call, member Charpentier,
Yes,
member Cook,
Yes.
member Sargent,
Yes,
member Sherman,
Abstain. And just for the record, the reason I've abstained from these last two is I was not involved or was not on the commission during the time of these projects. That's why I'm abstaining.
and member Gullah.
Yes. Okay. Anything to add, Chuck? How was that first night?
You guys tell me, you're the ones watching it.
I think you did a good job. Very good.
good job, Chuck.
How was your first week?
Okay. Anything else to add? Any commissioners have anything before we wrap this up?
Oh,
All right. So with that, can we get a motion to adjourn?
Charpentier moves to adjourn.
Bill Cook seconds.
Roll call, member Charpentier,
Yes.
member Cook,
Yes.
member Sargent,
Yes.
member Sherman,
yes.
and member Gullah.
Spirit of my, Mr. Gradwell, no. Does anybody know, is he okay? And we hear from him at all, Chuck, or is he still traveling? He got COVID, I know that. He was in his.
Oh, my goodness.
I think he mentioned that he was not going to attend tonight's meeting.
Okay, good. All right, excellent. All righty, everybody, we got a big meeting coming up in September. Rest up and we'll see you in a few weeks.
Okay, good night, everyone.
Night, everyone.
All right,
Thanks, Chuck.
thank you guys. Have a good night.